The first phase of this World Cup began in Dhaka for us, and so did the knockout phase.
Things looked quite subdued though. The World Cup fervour was less. There were power cuts 4 times a day, which was a bit shocking.
One even at the stadium.
And it was a bit sad to feel Bangladesh's absence from the World Cup. And we find that our friend Andy has actually got a stand-up gig in Dhaka.
And so we went for it. The venue was located in a very residential area, but as soon as I opened that door into the club, it was an instant throwback for me to Manhattan, with a pizzeria on top of this joint thrown in for good measure.
It was interesting to meet Naveed Mehboob and his wife Zara, who have started Naveed's Comedy Club.
I started comedy back in 2004 in the US and been doing comedy since then. 2007 I became the best comedian at the Las Vegas Comedy Festival. We came back in late 2008, and then at one point we decided that we should start stand-up comedy the way we know it in the West, in Bangladesh. We opened the club.
Very soon there will be a 24-hour, 7 days a week, 365 days in a year, fully dedicated comedy channel in the country. It's called the Parliament Channel.
And he came back from Hajj, which is a spiritual and a religious experience. And he looked at me at the airport, and I was driving him home, and he said, "Zara, it's come to me. I know what I want to do." And I said, "Oh God, he's going to turn into a mullah, or he's going to become too fanatic, or something to that effect. I want to do comedy full time." I almost slammed the brakes, and I was like, Okay, nice revelation at Hajj in Mecca. You want to do comedy full time. So, and we said, people come to the planet with a calling. He hasn't quit his job. He's still an engineer. He's heading IBM right now in Bangladesh. So, ideally, I would like to see Naveed do comedy when we can afford it, inshallah, full-fledged.
This is how we are. This one gentleman recently got a Nobel Prize, right? He brands this country. Next thing we know, we want to sack him. We want to fire this guy, right? And what was the reason? He's 70 years old and the retirement age is 60, right? It took Bangladesh Bank 10 years to figure it out.
We need to laugh. We have a lot of problems in this country. So this is one place where I think that people can come and relax and laugh and laugh and laugh.
Apart from stand-up comedy, I don't see any other places that you can go for comedy.
With the increase of the middle class, has finally reached a point where people can actually enjoy this kind of comedy. We don't have a tradition, but I'm pretty sure this is going to make itself a tradition in Bangladesh soon.
We didn't have to wait long before Andy stumbled onto the stage.
It's been a fascinating, very interesting World Cup, despite the fact that you probably could have picked the last 8 teams, certainly at the start of the tournament, and even more so, you could have picked them 30 years ago. I don't know if any of you feel the same way about Graham Smith, but I cannot stand him. I fully admit he's an outstanding player. He's probably a very nice man, but he is the ugliest batsman in the history of cricket. He had a partnership with Hashim Amla the other day, who's a very stylish player, and watching it was sort of like seeing a champion pianist trying to play a Chopin melody while someone was hacking a horse to pieces with a chainsaw next to him. And we had the stones being thrown at the West Indies bus, and I thought that was misinterpreted. And in fact, the Bangladesh Cricket Board have cleared it up, and they've said it was in fact merely over-enthusiastic geologists who were so impressed with the West Indian performance that they wanted to get their favourite rocks signed by the players. Just a bit of autograph hunting gone wrong.
We were there bright and early the next day for the Pakistan versus West Indies quarterfinal.
Sadly, what a terribly disappointing one-sided game. Given the sordid political baggage that Bangladesh has with Pakistan, it was a little baffling to see the overwhelming support that Pakistan got from
the locals.
The religion argument is probably given more strength by the fact that a lot of Sri Lankan Muslim fans were supporting Pakistan at the Premadasa. And Pakistanis have always known that they've had that kind of support, but I don't think they've ever known precisely why they get that kind of support. I'm not sure if it's only religion, but if it isn't only religion, I'm also not sure what else it could be.
Since we lost badly against West Indies, so we thought like if Pakistan can beat West Indies badly, then we can take a revenge out of it.
The people here do believe that we was once the part of Pakistan. So we was used to say East Pakistan. So it's not that we are separated from them now, but still we came from the same blood.
আমরা এক সময় পাকিস্তানি ছিলাম আর আমাদের অংশই পাকিস্তান যেহেতু ওয়েস্ট ইন্ডিজকে হারাইছে তো আমরা ওইটাই ফিল করতেছি যে আমরাই ওয়েস্ট ইন্ডিজকে হারিয়ে দিয়েছি তাই না ভাই সবাই
Well, that is past. We forgot that, and now it is time to be friendly with Pakistan. Forget it. Yeah, forget it. Just forget it. This is
game, and you cannot discuss about the political matter in the game. It is just a game and enjoy it.
Separate करें और देखें आवाम क्या सोचती है.
Thank you, Bangladesh.
Political background এ বাংলাদেশ পাকিস্তানকে কিন্তু দেখতে পারে না ইন্ডিয়াকে সাপোর্ট করবে আবার যদি আমি বলি যে জাতিগত দিক তাহলে বাংলাদেশের 80% লোক সাপোর্ট করে পাকিস্তানকে
I don't understand why so many people shy away from an obvious religious connection.
It's like it's some kind of secret between them, a very badly kept secret.
I even asked Waqar Yunus this.
Why do you think so many Bangladeshis came out in such large numbers to support your team?
Why?
Yes.
I think we were friends.
And he subverted the question too. We were hundreds of miles away from where the second quarter-final was taking place between India and Australia.
And hence we decided to watch the match from the second floor of our hotel, which happens to be a Chinese restaurant.
It was wonderful watching the game with Andy and Osman also.
The company and the quality of the match made it the most memorable day of this entire trip for me.
Perhaps for me too.
There's no need for them to win any more World Cup cricket matches. They should surely just, enjoy the ones that they've had. They could sell one of their previous World Cup wins to a more needy nation, England, Venezuela.
The picture was a bit grainy, but that gives it a kind of dated feel, doesn't it? We're spoilt with modern television. Well, see, it felt like watching a game in the 80s from some distant part of the world.
Which is fine.
Yeah, it's got a bit of nostalgia value to it. And also, having the thoroughfare of people and waiters and restaurant punters walking in front, it made it more like being
just the point of delivery.
But it made like being in an actual ground, didn't it?
Yeah.
It gave it an authenticity. But
although the lights went and the screen went blank, I'm not sure how to equate that to the real life.
That was like watching England in the 1980s. That's the kind of spiritual equivalent, just total darkness.
I think Kohli has like a strange wrong-footed action as well.
It looked like his head was going to come off when he was bowling for that. When he was bowling, it looked like he was trying to take his shirt off while he was bowling.
What's this?
He was trying to bowl and get ready for a swim at the same time.
I want the team to win for whom it means a lot for their country.
So then India should win everything, always.
But it'll mean a lot in South Africa, it'll mean a lot in India, Pakistan, Sri Lanka.
This was one of our neighboring hotel rooms' door.
South Africans can be jingoistic too, but they were really disappointed that day.
3-ball choke, basically, that decided that game. And all the scientific preparation that Osman was talking about, they failed to not go into a World Cup quarter-final with Johan Botha batting at number 7. And if he'd been in the New Zealand team, he'd have batting 10 at best. And that was the Achilles heel. Every team in this World Cup has got an Achilles heel, and they're just all desperately strapping their ankles and hoping they get away with it.
Graeme Smith showed a lot of character in choosing to face the music all by himself. I was personally disappointed because I had pinned down South Africa to win the cup.
And also sad that Graeme Smith is one of the most impactful players in the history of the game, particularly Test cricket, which has not yet been recognized.
It's so hard to describe on such short notice. It's kind of disbelief, really. I felt that we certainly had what it took to be able to win today, and unfortunately we didn't. New Zealand performed better than us on the day. Sort of a crazy 5 overs. You know, we played some decent cricket, but not good enough again.
I'm happy to have seen a choke because I hadn't seen one live. But you know, happy is probably not the right word. It was quite disturbing, and especially disturbing to see Graham Smith at the press conference later. I think it was a really sad kind of image. He was obviously quite a crushed man and struggling to get words out and stuff. So not happy to see anyone go through that kind of thing, and having done it before as well.
Look, it's hard to sort of give you answers now, but I thought we played well enough to certainly bowl well enough to win today, and I think the batting let us down in the middle period. It's simple as that.
An Indian journalist actually suggested that the South Africans should be called jokers and not just chokers henceforth.
What message would you like to give to all the fans? Why it happens? Is it a mental thing? Or
Okay, I think I've got your question already. Look, there's nothing that I can say right now that will make the fans feel better. I mean, we feel terrible. I mean,
It baffles me how some journalists seem to take obvious pleasure in insulting cricketers in public when they are down in the name of provocation, or ask thoroughly insensitive questions like someone actually asked Smith about the India-Pakistan match. I mean, meanwhile, Andy was taking his celebrity status in Dhaka too seriously.
So somebody recently said that you're bigger than Shah Rukh Khan. Is that true?
Well, clearly it is. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't be wearing this, would I? I mean, if Shah Rukh Khan ever sold 110 tickets in one night. Well, just trying to maintain some semblance of normality and anonymity. It's tough seeing what these celebrities go through. It's really tough.
Given the comprehensive wins Bangladesh had over New Zealand and Zimbabwe before the World Cup began, they had been seen as a candidate for the quarterfinals.
So we decided to ask some locals if the early exit from the World Cup had reduced the fervor for the game in the country.
আমি বলবো যে দর্শক কিন্তু কমেনি। আমি শ্রীলঙ্কা কভার করতে গিয়েছিলাম, তো শ্রীলঙ্কাতে দেখলাম যে ওদের ম্যাচে যে পরিমাণে ক্লাউড হয়, আমি বলতে চাচ্ছি যে আমাদের দেশের ম্যাচে কিন্তু তার থেকে বেশি ক্লাউড হচ্ছে।
সেই প্যাশনটা আপনি ধরতে পারেন ম্যাচ শুরুর আগে ঢাকার আশেপাশের রাস্তাগুলো ফাঁকা হয়ে যাচ্ছে কেন? যেখানে জায়ান্ট স্ক্রিনে খেলা দেখাচ্ছে সেখানে যাচ্ছে অথবা বাসায় যাচ্ছে।
যখন নিউজিল্যান্ড ব্যাটসম্যান আউট হয়ে গেছে তখন উল্লাস করতেছে, আবার যখন জেসি রাইডার অনেক সুন্দর সুন্দর শট খেলছে তখনই কিন্তু উল্লাস করতেছে। ক্রিকেটকে ভালোবাসে দেশের মানুষ।
আমাদের দেশের ক্রিকেট বোর্ডের উন্নয়নের জন্য আমাদের দেশে আরও নতুন 5টা মাঠ হচ্ছে, খুব সুন্দর সুন্দর 5টা মাঠ হচ্ছে, হয়তো আগামী কোনো টুর্নামেন্টে দেখা যাবে। তো যখন এরকম রুট লেভেল থেকে চলে আসবে ক্রিকেট টিমটা, তখন মাস্ট-বি কিন্তু অনেক অনেক মানে সোজা হয়ে যাবে আমাদের ক্রিকেট, আমাদের শক্তিশালী হয়ে যাবে।
Our second stay at Dhaka was altogether too short, but as we made our way to the airport at 6 a.m.
we couldn't help but reflect on what this experience had been like for us. For me, even though the food and language were distinct barriers, there was this positive buzz around that kept me going.
I was also very touched by the Bangladeshi people. I think not only their warmth and their genuine sincerity that I felt very often, but also a general level of efficiency, which is contrary to the assumption of a lot of people. Almost invariably they delivered on what they said they would do, and they did it with considerable focus and an earnestness that to me was very touching. I suspect Bangladeshis might just have the best work ethic amongst those in the subcontinent.